Hey Warriors, Torage the Warrior here, and welcome to Fury Raider Throne of Thunder Edition. This is where I just go through the bosses in Throne of Thunder and tell you as a Fury Warrior what you need to do in order to best defeat the boss, how to help your raid out the most, and in case you want to go for ranks, how to really just be a scumbag DPS and get those ranks if you want to. So of course as we pull the boss here, we want to get our pre-potion and our battle shout out right as the countdown is about to finish. Then we want to charge in. Now if you're going to blow up the boss real fast, lots of times you want to put down a die by the sword just in case you get aggro. This case we're not blowing all our cooldowns at the start, and we'll talk about that in a second here. This fight is really short, and we have our 3-minute cooldowns, and the fight can last like less than that. Now this is one where depending on how much advantage you're taking of the pools and how good your DPS is, the fight's length can change quite a bit, like between 3 and 5 or 6 minutes. If you're hitting the 6-minute mark, you're probably in trouble because you have the whole floor covered at that point. So the reason we don't blow all of our cooldowns at the start is because these pools. Now there's these big pools. The boss will throw the tank at one of the pillars, one of the 4 statues around, and then a water pool will start to spread out from underneath them. So if you're in that pool, you get a huge damage boost, and you want to have that as much as possible. Now, if you want to maximize this fight, this is mandatory for ranking. There really is no scumbag moves you can do in this fight to get more damage in, because having the tank pull the boss over to that pool and then turn the boss around so you're not getting parried is going to be a huge boost for all of your raid's melee DPS, and that's kind of just the proper way to do it. You can just move back for Lightning Storm, make sure you're out of it, which I guess brings me to Lightning Storm. So after the pool's been there for a while, you really want to watch your timer for this Lightning Storm and be towards the edge of the pool when it's about to wear off, or was about to go off, because he'll electrify the pool during that Lightning Storm. He'll do a ton of damage, and then if you're in the pool, you'll pretty much guaranteed to die. So is what you're going to do there. You're going to stand up, you're going to stack with the raid group, and you are going to switch to Berserker stance here, because there's going to be a ton of raid damage going out. You can't really avoid it. But yeah, Berserker stance is a good thing here. You can get extra rage in between these pools. Now you're really not going to want to blow your cooldowns here regardless, just because you don't have the 100% damage boost. And as soon as the thunderstorm is over, he's going to throw the tank at another pillar and start the whole thing over again. Now, so how not to die? Don't be in the pool when it's electrified. There's something that ranged do with orbs, and if they screw that up, it kills you. If you really want to be clever, you can watch them. The orb will chase them around, and it'll pop one of these little zappy things on the ground. If it pops it in the pool, or if a pool expands to cover one of them, it'll do a ton of damage to everyone in the pool. So if you really want to be clever, you can watch out for that and not be in the pool when that happens, and then move right back in. But if your raid is good, that should never happen. I don't think it ever happens to us here. So now, if you want to rank on this one, like I said, no scumbag moves here, but you need to kill him very quickly. And by quickly, I mean like in about 3 minutes, meaning that on the second... Now, we almost do it here. We do get a third pool, but on the second pool, it is possible to kill him here. And the reason why that is like mandatory for really ranking on this fight is because you want to have that pool, the damage bonus, while you're using your whole execute on him. So you get that 100% damage boost with the executes, which you're doing huge damage with anyway. So as Fury, this is definitely a SMF fight. There's no multi-target here. And it's big execute damage, which is where SMF excels anyway. Here's how well I've done in this fight, and let me know in the comments how well you can do in this fight and if this video helped you. Next fight in Throne of Thunder is Horridon. Now, for Horridon, I'd start with the full opener, so I use my charge, I use my potion, I use my battle shout before everything starts, and then I go on with the full 3-minute and 2-minute or 1-minute cooldown. So that's my banner, bloodbath, dragon roar, and recklessness going right into my rotation. And now there are damage boost things in this fight. Horridon has a stacking damage taken thing on him, and there are adds to DPS down, but the fight is long enough that you pretty much want to use everything right on cooldown anyway. The only exception to that is the fight lasts between 8 and 9 minutes. My kill on one team was 10 minutes, and a kill on another team was 8 minutes. So that means you're going to want to use your cooldowns at the start, use your cooldowns at 3 minutes, use your cooldowns at 6 minutes, and then probably hold on to that last set of cooldowns, your 3-minute cooldown, so your Recklessness and your Skull Banner. Hold on to that last one until you're in that execute phase that we'll get to. So as a Fury Warrior, let's just go through it gate by gate here. The first gate, we got our Sand Trolls. Their big troll ad is the Waste Walker. On all 4 of these doors, there's like a big troll ad that jumps down from the stands. You always want to kill that one first. It puts a stacking debuff on people that ticks for a whole bunch of damage, and your healers have to dispel it. So the sooner they're dead, the less they can cast. Better it is for everyone. There are also these Stone Gazer Basilisks. If you want to be an awesome pro warrior, you can either set them to focus and then focus pummel their Stone Gaze, or you can just take Disrupting Shout like I've got in this fight, and then see if you can catch one of their casts with that Disrupting Shout. You don't really want to retarget to kill them because they don't really have enough health. It's better to just cleave off of the Waste Walker. And in fact, in this kill, I'm not even doing that, the targeting or interrupting for them. I'm just AoEing them down, and they're dying fast enough most of the time that they don't get to cast that Stone Gaze anyway. But if you want to be super pro, and if you're having trouble with Stone Gazes, interrupt those. After a little while, the Dinomancer will come down. You always want to kill him first if you haven't used your pummel on the Stone Gaze. You should have enough pummels or interrupts going around to interrupt his Dino Mending. If not, then you should probably have people set up to interrupt the Dino Mending. I'm not set to interrupt the Dino Mending in our group here, so I don't think I get it. If you've got it off a cooldown, why not throw it out there anyway? Maybe the other guy's not paying attention. It's always good to be safe rather than sorry, because it will heal the boss for quite a bit. There's next to no damage on the boss at this time, but still, it's damage, and you don't want that to go the other way. Now, it's really tricky here because there will be these sand traps on the ground. They grow and get bigger. You absolutely do not want to stand in those. You get the Dinomancer down, he'll drop the orb, someone will click on it, the boss will smash into the door, and he'll get a ramping damage taken debuff on the boss. And this is when you want to start hitting him on the way to his next door. If you really want to do good damage here, you want to do as much damage as you can to the boss between doors. And if there's other ads around, see if you can cleave them down, great. If you're having a lot of trouble with ads, definitely focus on the ads. Here, I'm kind of doing a little bit of both, but it's a good opportunity to get damage on the boss if the ads are clear. Second door, same thing. You can kind of just sit on the boss. The other ads that spawn here aren't tremendously dangerous or have a whole ton of health. You can usually just sit on the boss and cleave them down until the Venom Priests come out. Then you definitely want to kill those as soon as possible. They will cast a Venom Bolt Volley that will put poison on everyone. You can pummel this, which I recommend doing, of course. And in fact, for this door, you can take care of all the interrupts by yourself if you do things right. So the first guy comes down, you pummel his Venom Bolt Volley, you kill him. The second pair of them comes down, because there's one and then there's a pair of them. The pair comes down. If you get them close enough together, they'll start casting their Venom Bolt Volleys at the same time, and you can just Disrupting Shout to get them both at once. It's also about the time that the two come down that your Dragon Roar and your Bloodbath should be off a cooldown by this time. I would definitely recommend using them to sort of get these ads down as quick as possible. As well as, of course, with any ad situation, you're throwing in tons of Whirlwinds and tons of Meat Cleaver Raging Blows. And still trying to cleave on to the boss as much as you can. Next door, same deal, nothing to interrupt, Frozen Orbs to not stand in, cleave off the boss if you can, take care of the ads, kill the Dinomancer. Last door, same kind of deal. You can interrupt the other ads, not the big bear rider guys that come down, but there are other ads that you can interrupt that can help you out a little bit. It's mostly like sometimes I'll go in there, I'll Disrupting Shout all of them to sort of bring them in to where the tank's trying to tank them. And also the big guys will put down totems, the AoE, so like the other 3 doors, there's an AoE thing to not stand in. After you take care of them, then it's onto the boss. Now this time the boss has 4 stacks of that damage taken debuff, which is going to let you do huge damage to the boss. So ideally you want to blow those last set of cooldowns here. They may be on cooldown at this point, and ideally throughout the fight you want to be using them on the boss, especially on the last 2 gates when he's got enough of that stacking debuff that he'll be taking a lot more damage from it. So you kind of want to hit the boss with your cooldowns and then cleave off of him to kill the ads. And that is unless your raid is having a lot of trouble with ads. Raid is having trouble with ads, full time on the ads, don't even worry about the boss. It is possible to take him to like out of the 4th gate at like 80% health and still kill him before the enrage timer. After a while, Jin'rokh will come down, and some raids will Bloodlust and kill Jin'rokh, some raids will Bloodlust and just kill Horridon. Horridon's at high health, you definitely don't want to focus him, but if you go into that last phase and you were really smooth on ads and you had a lot of people putting a lot of time on the boss and the boss is really low, you can actually just kill Horridon down and then Jin'rokh will despawn. So you can, whichever way you're doing it, you want to put all your damage in here. Now, you want to get Jin'rokh close to Horridon so you can cleave it down, obviously, for more damage. So that's the best way to do the fight, really, as a Fury Warrior. Now, there is a scumbag way to do this fight, to get ranks on World of Logs. And how that is after the first gate really doesn't matter, because there's probably do more damage doing the ads anyway. The second gate, debatable. You might do more in the ads, you might do more in the boss. Probably still more in the boss than just cleaving the ads. But on third and the fourth gate, you just want to sit on the boss, because he has a big damage taken increase, and if you just sit on him the whole time, you will do a ridiculous amount of damage from the third gate on. Now, the reason why this is the scumbag way to do it is because it is more damage for you. As far as helping out the raid, it's not as good because you're sort of leaving the ads up to everyone else to handle, and if they can't handle them without you, you're probably not going to do so well. Also, in the last phase where you have Jin'rokh and Horridon there, now if you're doing it the scumbag way properly, meaning like you've put a ton of damage into the boss, he's probably pretty low at this time, and it's better to just kill Horridon and ignore Jin'rokh. You want to call for them to bring them both together anyway, and then just cleave off of Horridon onto Jin'rokh, so you can get a little bit of extra damage that way too. That's all there's for Horridon and this first Fury Raider Throne of Thunder video. I will try to get the rest out in a reasonable amount of time. Here are some of my best runs for Horridon, and please let me know if these helped you in the comments, or just comment on if you have some alternative strategies to these. Those I always want to hear as well. And of course, for more warrior awesomeness, please subscribe to my channel. There is also a full Fury DPS guide video there that I recommend you watching. And of course, thank you for watching.